Hi guys! Welcome to the first rendition of COSMO'S Commentaries, the series where I commentate over whatever the fuck I want. This is probably going to be one of those recurring things where if I don't feel like uploading anything art related, I'll probably just, sit down and yap and hope somebody listens to me. But if people like these directors' commentary kind of videos where I explain behind the scenes processes and my thoughts on stuff that I make, then I might do this with Hey Brother as well. So if you're interested in seeing that, please let me know before I start on Hey Brother Part 2 so I can be prepared for another one of these kind of videos in the future. Fair warning though, I will be playing the animatic over this and pausing a lot to share my thoughts, so if you're here to watch the animatic, first of all, what are you doing here? Go watch my Love Mine on Mine. Maybe twice so you get a fair and open thought of the quote-unquote storyline I have in it. And second of all, if you hate pauses in between watching something, this video is probably gonna get on your very last nerves. So tread with caution, please. But with that being said, let's start the yap. So the first thing I want to bring to your attention is the color of the subtitles. I don't know if you guys have caught this on in Hey Brother too, but I intentionally color my subtitles. I don't know if I'm the only person who does that, but I love intentionally coloring my subtitles. The subtitle colors serve for a kind of POV entire ordeal, we're seeing things from one person's POV versus another person's POV. In this case, we're in Georgia's POV right now because the subtitles are pink, but if you've watched my Love Mine on Mine, then you know that they change from pink to yellow to signify Ark's point of view, which I'll get to later, of course. The only reason why the subtitles are in that font in particular, and also in dark yellow outline, is because I was trying to capture a VHS kind of feel whenever making this animatic. I thought that would really fit, considering a lot of these take place in the past, or at least their past. But enough about subtitles, let's go ahead and continue.
Through the big top tent up high, here before and after me, shining down on me.
Okay, first of all, before I get to what I was gonna say, can we just appreciate how cute this frame is? Genuinely. I feel 90% of the frames that I drew in this animatic could be wallpapers or something. Fuck, I might actually just do that after this. I might just make this my wallpaper. But anyways, back to what I was going to say. This part of the animatic basically shows what they do in their spare time, how they bond as a cute little couple, high school sweethearts kind of ordeal. Nothing really happens, but then shit goes down, you know.
Moon, tell me if I could send up my heart to you, so when I die, which I must do, could it shine down here with you?
Okay, let's take a minute to unpack all the shit that just went down in 10 seconds or less. So first of all, this is Georgia and Ark in their Dark World forms. This is a Deltarune animatic. They're not wearing these outfits for willy-nilly and dilly or whatever. They're in a dark world as this is happening. Second of all, let's take a look at Mitsuki's peak lyric writing. So if I die, which I must do, could it shine down here with you? I was intentional whenever I set this POV part in the animatic to be Georgia's, because obviously in the animatic she dies, and maybe not in the current timeline of where the actual story is taking place, to which I'll get to timelines later when the reset button comes up in the animatic. But there's an obvious theme of the idea of fate versus destiny. It's fate for Georgia to end up dying, or for Arkgia, the ship itself, to end up separated. But the destiny to which Ark and Georgia are fighting for actively, the destiny is for them to be together. And I'll get back to this theme probably way later in the video, but I swear this is important. Please put this in the back of your brains, remember this, I'll come back to it. Finally, look at the subtitles. You is highlighted in yellow. Tee-hee, I knew what I was doing there.
Just my love is mine, all mine. I love my.
Okay, two things. One, I want you guys to remember this chorus part. Remember the visuals, remember what's going on, remember basically all of it, because I am going to bring this back up whenever the second chorus hits. And second of all, I want you guys to pay attention to the little mine, and the heart handwriting that I wrote. Remember when I said I intentionally color code my subtitles to show the POVs of which characters are like singing or viewing whatever's going on? Well, guess what color the handwriting is? Pink. And guess whose color is pink in the animatic? That's right, Miss Georgia Tourmaline. I think this is actually how I'd imagine Georgia's handwriting to be, like having the heart dots over the eyes and the hearts and the E's and stuff like that. And also the squiggly lines with the arrows kind of resemble cattails, considering she has like the cat beanie and stuff. I was originally going to make like the filter over Arc be like one of those cat filters that you see on like Snapchat or something. But first of all, I feel like Arc would probably kill himself if Georgia did that to him. And second of all, hearts were a lot simpler and it also matched with the handwriting, so there's that.
Nothing in the world belongs to me but my love. Mine, all mine, all mine.
So what Arc is holding here and what was shown earlier was a shadow crystal, and if you know, you know. And I'm not going to explain much of why Georgia has her hands on one. If you know, you know. But that's her quote-unquote object thing. I honestly didn't know what to put for her, like, object thing. Like, I could have done her beanie, but, like, that's kind of a little bit too out there, don't you think? So I decided to use the shadow crystal. And also because Arc doesn't want the shadow crystals around Georgia, so I kind of see that as, like, taking it away from her in a sense, but like not in a possessive way, more like a protective way. Okay, might I add here that first of all, this conversation did happen. This isn't some dialogue that I pulled out of my ass, unlike the last bits of dialogue that were at the end of the animatic, but this actually happened. I have screenshot proof. Here it is.
My baby here on earth showed me what my heart was worth.
Firstly, notice the subtitle color change. Now we are in Arc's POV. Second of all, I really like these lyrics, and again, I said earlier that I was very strategic whenever picking the POVs of like the lyrics in this animatic. My baby here on earth showed me what my heart was worth. I see that as Georgia opening Arc's heart up, like she's like introducing him to new people and making him become a better person, which I think is sweet.
So when it comes to be my turn, could you shine it down here for her?
Oh my gosh, guys, there's the big giant reset button that I mentioned earlier. But anyways, back to why this is relevant. I mentioned that Georgia died in a timeline and not a present timeline. Well, this is the timeline where she died. And to put all the pieces back together, I want you to go back to My Love Mine Oh Mine, look in the video description, and see the caption that I have posted. And maybe then, instead of me telling you, maybe then that'll kind of piece everything together about the entire, like, reset button thing and, like, Georgia dying and stuff and how Arc fixed it and stuff. I think that's pretty fun to do. Yeah, you should do that. Trust. And also, look at the subtitles. Her is in pink. That was also very much intentional.
My love is mine, all mine. Mine.
So remember when I instructed to think of the first chorus whenever the second chorus hits? Well, the second chorus hits, and obviously there are a lot of similarities and connections, to which I'll get to later, but for now I do want to focus on like the handwriting and like the music notes around Georgia. Funny enough, Arc's handwriting would probably be a lot more messy than what I tried to do, like the unaligned letters and like the caps lock and stuff. it'd be a lot more messy, but I tried to like write with my left hand to try and portray that messiness, but dude, it was so hard to get my art tablet to cooperate with me. And as for the music notes and the hearts, well, obviously Ark is a musician and he's probably going to associate Georgia with music, similar to how Georgia associated Ark with hearts, Ark associated Georgia with music. And I think that's really cute.
Nothing in the world belongs to me but my love, mine, all mine.
So sort of similar to how Georgia's object was the shadow crystal and Ark was kind of taking it away from her, Ark's is his MP3 player and Georgia has it plugged in listening to music.
Nothing in the world is mine for free but my love, mine, all mine, all mine.
Alright guys, we've reached the end of the animatic and the end of my unscripted Yab Fest, which I'm so excited about because we probably need to get this video over with. It's already been like, what, 11 minutes? So now that we've reached the end of the animatic, now that we've watched it together and I pointed out some of the details, we're going a little bit deeper. We're gonna go below the surface level and I'm going to open your eyes and enlighten you on just how smart I am, trust. Let's start by going back to the chorus of the song. There are 2 choruses in My Love, Mine, All Mine, and I methodically planned for the animatic to show 2 points of view for a reason. Before I continue though, I'm going to play both of these choruses side by side, so just watch and keep your eyes peeled.
Is mine, all mine. I love mine, mine. Nothing in the world belongs to me but my love, mine, all mine.
So there were a lot of editing decisions as well as graphic decisions that very much portrayed just how connected these two genuinely are, and I'm not gonna go over it over my voice. I'm just gonna give you guys a list. Just look over it, note it, pause if you need to. But what I will say though is that this choice was not made for no reason. I didn't copy and paste the chorus with different visuals because Cosmo lazy, but rather this was a methodical display of how Ark and Georgia are so connected with each other. Remember that theme of fate versus destiny that I brought up earlier? It's coming back right now. It's fate that the two are supposed to be apart, but it's destiny that brings them together. Even in this animatic where Georgia dies, Ark is always going to be able to fix things because they want to be together. You likely don't see it in the animatic as much, and this is more of just a general RuneTale AU kind of thing, but I know in the video it just shows Ark fighting for destiny, but Georgia does it too, and it's just that this is kind of more what happened before the current RuneTale story where Georgia got up off her ass and actually did shit. So yeah, in all of the previous timelines, Ark and Georgia were together. Georgia kind of dies, you know, or there were some probably where Ark died too, but we're not talking about that right now. I know I talk about timelines a lot, but just how many timelines do you think has fate tried to keep these two apart? And if you know the answer already, just shout it out loud, do whatever with it, because, you know, it's the 1,499 number. So 1,499 times that these two have been separated, and that makes the current story take place in timeline 1,500. Honestly, if that's not love, I don't know what is. Speaking of the resets, I should probably say what the fuck is happening with the resets as well. The resets, although it was shown that Ark was the one to reset the timelines, I'm here to say that Ark actually wasn't always the one to cause the resets. It'd be really complicated if I went deeper, so TLDR, there were some timelines where Ark was able to reset. I mean, it's Undertale, anything can happen. And this one shown in the video, this timeline's probably one where Ark had that ability. I also want to bring up what Ark said after he reset the timeline. I won't let this happen again, not in this life. This was dialogue I kind of pulled out of my ass, but it is based off of a real idea in which Ark was instructed to not let another reset happen. The main idea is that this timeline, which is probably one of an unknown number under 1,499, is a timeline that went as normal, showing how Ark and Georgia love each other, how they bond, etc, etc. But something happened and Georgia ended up dying to who, well, if you know, you know, but until I put out another animatic showing who did it, I'm not gonna say anything else. Arc, of course, wants his baddie back, so he chooses to reset. And based off of what I put in the description of the animatic, Arc has done this multiple times. All for Georgia, by the way. So, TLDR.
I miss my wife, Tails. I miss her a lot.
The last point I wanted to bring up was the question, why did Cosmo choose POV lyrics instead of choosing to just have the song represent both Arc and Georgia? If they were so close, why did the caption colors change? That's because I thought the two separate POVs meant more. If I just made the captions white or dark yellow to match the VHS style theme I was going for, I don't think that my art would have much meaning. I mean, it could go either way for ArcGia, right? That's why I decided the first half of the song would be Georgia and the second half would be Arc. And also, I think that Georgia's So If I Die Which I Must Do and Arc So When It Comes to Be My Turn parts made the reset plot I tried to put in more valuable. Besides that, I wanted to end this director's cut with a final question. Do you think that the destiny in Undertale, or the fate in Deltarune will ultimately decide what happens to ArcGia? Will they win the war against fate or end up denying destiny over and over? That is for you to think about. So we finally reached the end of the video. First off, I wanted to say thank you so much for almost 200 views on My Love Mine All Mine. Hello? Currently, as of recording this, it's been a week and it's garnered like what, 180, 83, I don't know. But Hey Brother took like 6 months to get to 260 plus views, so seeing this really makes me happy. Second of all, if you want to see more COSMO'S commentaries videos in the future, please let me know. I can do this with Hey Brother, I can do this and talk about my OCs, or even do story times if you guys wanted that. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe, and always remember, ArcGia forever. I'm Cosmo, and this was episode 1 of COSMO'S Commentaries. Bye!